Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So these type of videos that I'm not thrilled to make, especially when it's something, this is the car I like. If you follow the channel, I'm selling the X5 actually today. I'm just filling up with gas here for the new owner. Only meeting him in the next hour. It's disappointing to have to do this. I was trying to get some last minute footage with my drone here, and end up crashing and breaking the gimbal off, so that's something that I'm going to send out to repair. But yeah, why am I selling this car? What's getting next? I'll explain all this in the video. Anyway, keep watching. So why am I selling it? If it's because, things change a little bit more when, first I had the Type R. If you follow the channel, I had the Type R, I had the M3. I've got this one. All my cars are sort of the most aggressive variant of the trim it is, which makes it, when you want to take your family out for a comfortable ride, you realize you don't have that tool you need. Because everything is sporty. And the X3 I thought would be like, okay, this would be the middle point. If we really want comfort, we can take the X3. And one time I took the X3 and I found myself really close to the dashboard. I felt like the car seat in there. And I was like, you know what, I need something bigger. I want something a little bit bigger. And I initially started looking for a BMW X7, M50i, thought needed third row. Also cross shopping the Audi SQ7. Because I had a Q7 with the air suspension, those things rode very nice. But what ended up happening, I just could not find, it's hard to find. I'm very picky, obviously. I'm trying to find, I want the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. I want the captain's seats. I want the towing package. And obviously I'm trying to find something for a good price. I'm not trying to spend $80,000 to $90,000 on these cars. So I had a price limit. So I ended up talking to my wife. She's like, probably don't need the third row. I said, great. I'd love to get to a G05 X5 to also learn more about those and obviously continue the channel with that way. And that didn't happen either. It just seemed to be to where I felt like if I find something, it was way at my price, my budget. And for me, it was hard. It's hard to spend, especially having an X5M, it's hard to go to an M50. Now, they gave me, I had this car for service, and they gave me a loaner 40i. And at that point, that changed my whole perspective. The 40i was enough power. The 40i was, I can see why people would go for that, because if I'm not used to this, the 40i would be perfect. But the problem is I am used to this. So it had to be an M50i. This couldn't do it for me because I wanted my checklist. I had a certain checklist, and my checklist here. So I had my checklist. Obviously comfort was something that I really wanted. Comfort, it had to be all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. It needed at least a 7,000-pound towing capacity for what I use. I wanted 2-axle air suspension, obviously panoramic sunroof. It needed at least 500 horsepower. I wanted a V8. Sound system's got to be great. Apple CarPlay is a must. 4-zone climate control, and for me, a big one for me is adapter cruise control with stop go. I know you guys are going to say, well, if you're buying a car like this, you should be driving it. I'm like, yeah, it's true. I love to drive, but the problem is in California, I sit in traffic, and traffic is a thing. It's no fun sitting in traffic. I don't care what kind of car you're in, that's enjoyable. If you're sitting in stop and go traffic, you're gonna be in Lamborghini. If I'm stop and go, only going 5 miles an hour and stopping again, that's not fun. I'd rather just have the computer do that for me. That's the part where I feel like I let the computer handle that. So yeah, I was one of those things. So obviously the new X5M did not check all those boxes because you can't get even the rear axle, the air suspension like you can on the F85s. So I was worrying, okay, if I do that and I put my car on a trailer to tow for the track, would it squat? Or am I do like weight distribution? And I can't do this, but my whole point is I can't even get a hitch on the car, a factory hitch. I read more about the wiring. It's not like this where on these where I could just buy the wiring from Stealth and has a module and get it coded. It seems to be more. I just didn't want to deal with that. It was something more I didn't want to tackle. Obviously, the 7,000 pound towing capacities. I take my car to the track and I like to tow it there. Obviously, occasional travel trailer use. The next thing that I wanted to have was I wanted to have something that felt comfortable. And it says, my wife, riding this thing, and it feels it's not bad. Trust me, there's worse cars. My Type R was a road worse. But I wanted to take this on trips and such as so forth, and I don't know why, but she didn't like the seats very much. We test drove an M50i. She fell in love with it. She was like, "You should get the M50i." I just couldn't find one from budget, so if they keep watching the end of the video, you'll see what I reveal next. What the next car is. It'll surprise you. But yeah, we looked around. The SQ7s they're still sort of on a budget. Porsche Cayenne Turbo was a big contender, to be honest with you. I really wanted the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, but again, those cars are very, like, once you start to pick, you want this option with this option, it adds up pretty quick. Your nickel and dime all the way up. With the color of your seatbelts, they're charging you. Color your dials you want. If you want the certain markings on the cars, you got to pay for it. Porsche is a great car. I'm not knocking it, but I can't afford it. For what I want. Like I said, if I'm just really simple, I just want give me the bare bones Porsche. I could probably find one, but for me, wanting the sound system, I think they offer two different levels, the Bose, and I think the Burmeister is a high-end sound system on the Cayennes. There's two sunroof choices. You can get the regular traditional sunroof, or you can get the panoramic roof. If you want the taillights to be clear or red, if you want to say Porsche Cayenne on the back, or you want to say nothing, what type of brakes do you want, carbon ceramics or not? But they have air suspension. They check those boxes that I wanted. I just couldn't do it. Once you drive a European SUV, German, it's hard to go to American. So I can't say like I wanted. I did consider the TRX truck, a Ram truck, because to get the quad cabs, there's a lot of space in those. But I'm trying to think, what do I use a truck for? I don't know. But I do like trucks. How do you feel? Like how you feel safe with your family. You feel this solid feeling when you get like a Suburban or something like that, a Tahoe. They have those nice feelings. Like I thought about a Z71. Thought about one of those, but I don't know. I can't get into it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this video off. I gotta meet the new owner. This is a sad one. This platform is what made my channel the way it is now. Because I started off car reviews. Car reviews wasn't doing so hot for me, but I was still continuing doing reviews when I could. It was only during, obviously the pandemic was when I decided to answer some questions on YouTube, where people started asking me questions. I reviewed my F15 50i, and people said, "Hey, tell me about the reliability. Tell me about this," because people are curious. I decided to go ahead and make a video about it, and before you know, I got more questions. I made a video about that, and before you know it, it snowballed into several just videos about the X5, and then I just brought in a lot of people and a lot of viewers like yourself who are watching this. And I would have kept that car up to the point where it wasn't the tune, I wish you the power, and I was like, well, I could tune in or buy something more power. I got the X5M, I like the M, it was perfect for me. But like I say, your perspectives change when you, like I said, I mean, my boys were teenagers, but having a new baby just sort of responded my whole perspective of how I wanted to do. I didn't want to let this car go. I wish I could have just kept it and garaged it and put it next to the M3 or something. This platform is really great. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not selling this because I hate this. I'm selling it because my needs changed. I may be back. Who knows? But if I come back, I definitely want the updated iDrive. I would definitely want the Apple CarPlay. You know, it was a bummer last February when they turned off the 3D towers and I lost the connected services. It was like everything just became obsolete. No Apple CarPlay, that was a big one for me. I really wanted the Apple CarPlay. But yeah, this is why people who subscribe to my channel was mainly for this platform, making videos on it. But I can give you some options. DIYs are not gone. If you remember, I did the DIYs on the brakes and the rear piston caliper on those. The gentleman who sold me that, he has started his own channel, and he does really good work. He does a lot of good write-ups. Tony, and he has started his own channel. So if you want to follow those, if you're saying, you know what, darn, that sucks, and like I said, if you want to leave, I totally understand. If you want to unsubscribe for those reasons, but stay tuned in the video. You want to see what's next, maybe follow me on the next journey. I totally understand that. But yeah, the other gentleman, he started his own channel. So switch over to his. I'll link his in the description. Tony, he's up and coming with this platform. So I'll hand off the DIY torch to him. He is, like I said, even some of the DIYs I've done, I've even contacted him and asked for advice. So some of it's not all me doing this. It was like, hey man, what do I do here? What do I do here? And he'll walk me through it, over text and stuff like that. So very good person. I think, he's a good person. I think you should, definitely give his channel a check. I think he's probably a couple of videos out right now, but definitely subscribe over there. Anyway, I'll leave this video off with a montage that I was trying to create with my drone before it crashed. So I'll see what I can piece together. And at the very end, you'll see what's next. Thanks for watching, and I hope you stay.